Here are some morbid facts that you didn't know about the bombing of Hiroshima. Many people who witnessed the nuclear blast firsthand were blinded instantly. Some were even left with permanent atomic bomb cataracts like this one. When the bomb dropped, the blast was so powerful that it permanently burned the shadows of objects and people into the ground. A few of these objects still remain imprinted in the Peace Memorial Museum. Some Hiroshima survivors eventually grew black fingernails that looked like this. These fingernails contained active blood vessels and bled profusely when they broke off. The massive destruction of Hiroshima was caused by only a half gram of matter being converted into energy, which is about the same weight as a butterfly. If you're a certain distance from a nuclear explosion, you won't die immediately. Instead, you'll get third-degree burns all over your body, and your nerves will be killed so fast that you'll barely even feel it. This happened to a lot of people in Hiroshima, and when rescuers would grab their arms to help them, their skin would slide off like a glove. Albert Einstein encouraged President Roosevelt to develop the atomic bomb because he feared that the Nazis would make one first. But he deeply regretted this after hearing about the devastation of Hiroshima, and knowing that his discoveries led to the creation of the atomic bomb made him quite depressed. Here's a watch found in the Hiroshima rubble that's permanently stopped at 8:15 a.m., the exact time of the bomb's detonation. The details of the Manhattan Project were so secretive that nearly all of the 100,000 plus workers had no idea why they did their jobs. For example, a laundrywoman was given the task of holding up an instrument and listening for a clicking noise. It was a Geiger counter testing the radiation levels of uniforms. While the atomic bombings were devastating, the most destructive bombing raid in world history actually took place a few months earlier. The US Army used incendiary bombs to light a giant flaming X over the center of Tokyo. It left over 100,000 people dead and 1 million more homeless. Godzilla was created as a metaphor for nuclear weapons and was given the appearance of a Hiroshima victim. His atomic breath is meant to symbolize the blast and devastation of the bombs, and he's covered in keloid scars to depict the brutal body scars of survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In fact, the people who suffered the most from the bombings were in such horrific condition that people called them ant-walking alligators. According to one account, they are described to be faceless, with their heads transformed into blackened alligator hides with red holes indicating mouths. They had once been human. When the sky exploded, they'd had the misfortune to survive. The alligator people didn't scream. Their mouths could not form the sounds. Instead, the noise they made was worse than screaming. They uttered a continuous murmur like locusts on a midsummer night. One man, staggering on the charred stumps of legs, was carrying a dead baby upside down. Luckily, none of them survived for long.